I'm gonna go over some slightly outdated strats as well. There'll be multiple ways for doing things. Alright, so cheat percent. In this category, the objective is just to beat the game. Cheats are allowed, so it's a pretty easy category to pick up. The first thing you want to do is just pause the game and go to your options menu. And what you'll have to do is look up. I could put links in the description of this video on YouTube. You're gonna have to look up if I forget though, I'll probably remember. But you're gonna have to find the cheat codes for your console and enter them based on what they say for your console. So like for example, like for Xbox, I'm using the X and Y buttons to do the cheat inputs. For GameCube, it's gonna be different, but you're gonna have to look up and see what the inputs are for you. So you're going to want to hold down the L and R trigger. By the way, make sure you're using your fingers to do this, because using like modifications for your controller to hold down the triggers is banned. So don't do that. You have to hold down your triggers. What I usually do is I hold down the two triggers, and then I take my two thumbs and I pull them over to tap the buttons on the controller. So like I have like one thumb on X and one thumb on Y, so I use my thumbs to do that, to enter the cheat codes. So I'm going to hold down the L and R triggers, and I'm going to use the cheats X, Y, Y, X, X, Y, Y, X. So if I do that, you'll get the sound of SpongeBob laughing, and that just tells you that you got the cheat. So I have to do this 7 more times, because you need 80 spatulas. Because you need 75 to get into the Chum Bucket Lab, and this gives you 10 at a time. So you're going to do this 7 more times. Alright, so now I have 80. Okay, so now you're going to want to cheat in the Cruise Bubble and the Bubble Ball. So for Xbox, it's XXX, excuse me, that's the cruise control cheat. I'll go into that later. Okay, so for Xbox, you want to enter XYXYXXYY.
Almost too pretty.
That's for the Bubble Ball.
Almost.
And then YXYXYYXX for the Cruise Bubble. So now you have the Cruise Bubble, the Bubble Bowl, and 80 spatulas. So that's all you really need to finish the cheat split. I'll come back later to... By the way, split here for cheats. I'll come back later to discuss what you have to do for if you want to do cruise control. I'll cover that later. But yeah, I'm going to go over just the basic strat for this here. Advanced hand disable, I'll talk about that in a bit. But the objective here is now to disable the hand. So when you do this, there's a chance. Okay, so the thing about bubble ball boosting is that it's not guaranteed in some spots. There are some spots where it is, there's some spots where it isn't. But in this particular spot, you can get the frame, but the trick won't work. So bubble ball boost is when you bowl on the first frame that the hand puts you back into the map. So I'm looking for the timing when the hand leaves the map. You have to get some sort of visual cue, and then you press the B button or whatever button it is that makes you bubble ball on your console on that frame, and you get a boost forward. So that's how bubble ball boosting works. And then this is going to disable the hand anyway, but you have to make sure you do this, otherwise if you do Robo Sandy Skip, it's not going to work. But once you enter Jellyfish Fields here, all you have to do is just pause and go back to the bikini bottom and split.
Quick.
But I'm not going to split yet. I'm going to show you guys what I mean by bubble ball boosting first. So again, like you do this. Hopefully the game lets me get it within a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, this is a 1 frame trick, and it saves like a second, I think. I don't remember. This is a really old strat. But yeah, I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. There's just a small optimization. It's also been a while since I've done it, so. See, if you bowl and you go nowhere, it means you got the frame, but you got bad luck. That's what we think. So that's what it's supposed to look like. So there is a type of bubble bowl where you'll do it, and you'll go nowhere. Like not even, you won't even get that kind of momentum. You'll go even slower than that. But yeah, if you go at this speed, it means that you just missed the frame. If nothing happens, it means you missed the frame. If you get it and boost forward, it means you got it. But there's also a chance, because it's inconsistent, and we don't know exactly what caused it to happen, but sometimes you just get unlucky and you don't get a boost forward at all. You kind of stand in place. But anyway, I think I brought the hand back, and I had the hand trigger over the taxi pad. So I'm just gonna show off fast disable quickly. If you know how to cruise boost, I'll go over that in the next split. But basically, like what you can do, if you're more advanced, is do a cruise boost and bolt into the taxi pad, and press A when you go over it. And you see how the hand comes out and SpongeBob fades back in. If you get this, it means the hand was disabled. So that's a faster way of disabling the hand for this split. Now I must say though, if you do that trick and SpongeBob doesn't fade back in and the hand doesn't show on the screen, it means that you didn't disable the hand. And if you started the run with the hand disabled and you had the instance where you don't see the hand get disabled based on that visual cue, the leaderboard mods are going to reject your run because it means that you started your run with the hand disabled and you didn't re-disable the hand in your run. Because it's a rule for every speed run in this game, like every category, that you have to start the game treating the hand as if it were enabled, because that means you're on a clean file. Does that make sense? So if you're gonna go for fast hand disable, you need to make sure that SpongeBob fades back into the map at the very minimum. Otherwise, it means that either A, you fail the hand disable and you're gonna lose your run, or B, you'll still have a run, but it's gonna be invalid because you started the game with the hand disabled. Does that make sense? And to clarify, you're allowed to start a run with the hand disabled as long as you re-disable it and enable it in the run. Okay, so now we're going to go back to Bikini Bottom.
Oh, I'm quick!
And I'm going to go over cruise boosting. I'll put a... You know what, I'll just put a link to a timestamp in my any percent tutorial that you can look at for cruise boost tutorial. But if you watch my any percent tutorial, you'll know how to cruise boost. What you're going to want to do is get a cruise boost off of this door. And so what you're gonna do here is you're looking for this little crease in the ground where you fall outside of the map, and you're gonna use a bash to climb back up out of the map and go under this invisible wall. So you have your plane that we're gonna run on, your death plane. You have an invisible wall, and you have the plane like behind it. So what we're trying to do is go under the invisible wall and bash back up. Does that make sense? We're gonna go up. So, to do this, you can't stand on the death plane area for too long, otherwise the hand will come back and get re-enabled, and you'll have to re-disable it again. So, you want to jump before this line, so you're not already starting, because if you jump here, then the hand will already start counting down. The timer will start counting down if you jump here, and odds are you're not going to make it. So, what you want to do is jump here, so when you land over here, it starts counting down. Does that make sense? And then you're just going to have to get used to the timing for this. You just run forward, do a spin, and bash to get up. And that'll put you under the map. So if you do that correctly, you should end up over here. And you can just do some platforming. Watch out for this, by the way. If you get too close to this, you'll activate a cutscene. So you're going to want to stand a bit left, so that doesn't happen when you do this. So I'll show that again. You're gonna be coming up this way. Jump over this way so you don't touch the taxi pad. And then for this trick, it's pretty easy. All you gotta do is just jump. Sorry, hold on. All you have to do for this trick is just jump and mash your bash button. All right, let's do this. Just gotta mash it. Run up against the wall, mash it. Pretty simple. And once you do that, you can just go to the chum bucket. Bowl in. So now I'm just gonna review that again. If you want to see it again, I'll just talk. I'll tell you what inputs I'm doing. Alright, so we're gonna do this. Jump before the line, double jump, spin, Y. See, if you miss it, that's what happens. If you fall too deep, you get that. And I'll show you what happens if you press Y too early, by the way. I'll show you what happens if you press Y too early, and then I'll show you what happens if you just you fail the death plane. So that's what happens if you press it too early. So that happens. You get blocked off by the wall. You got to make sure you go under the wall. like that. And then I'll show you like what happens if you jump after you go over the line. So, see, you're not going to be able to make it. Most of the time, you won't be able to make it. And by the way, if you do make it, that's like a really bad scenario where you stood for way too long. But I'll show you the next scenario where you will be able to like. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you another scenario where you can go under the wall, but when you come back up, you lose your hand disable. See how the hand shows up on the screen? That means you did it successfully. But yeah, I'll show you what happens if you don't jump before you go over the line. Well, that also happens, but there's another one where if you barely miss it, then you'll touch the what happens is you'll touch that hill back there, right? You'll touch that hill back there, and then you'll get taken away. So when you touch that hill, you want to jump as soon as possible, otherwise you'll lose your hand disable, and you got to do it all over again. What's nice about this run, it's very short and easy to learn. So if you make a mistake like that, you have time to either make up for it by resetting and starting over again, or you can just keep going until you get your first run done. Alright, so I'm just gonna go back to the chum bucket because that's where we left off. You do all the platform, you go to the chum bucket. The easy backup for missing the police station bash. No, I didn't show that. Oh, okay, I guess I can show that then, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. Alright, I'll show this segment one more time. Yeah, so I'm coming up. It's like, oh no, I missed it. Oh no. Okay, so now you're gonna go over here. You can do this. Right, I think this is what you're talking about, right? I haven't done this since, like, I don't think I've ever done this. I've always reset my run if I missed that. There's one that goes like that, but you can also... That seems pretty precise, so what you can also do is not do that. You get what I'm trying... You get what I'm saying, though. Like, you get up here. You can do that and then just jump over. But yeah, what would happen is, like, you miss it. Alright, come on, man. I'm really bad at doing things that I've never learned. I never had to do this. You can just do that and jump over. Pretty easy backup. Then you went to the chum bucket.
They serve food here, yes, but they don't serve love.
And you're gonna split on this door.
Oh, I'm quick.
This part of the fight's pretty simple. There are multiple ways to do it. I'll go over all of them. I'm going to link my tutorial to Robo Sponge Skip from any %. If you don't know how to do this already, you can check in there as well. But yeah, just going to do Robo Sponge Skip.
Oh, I'm quick.
In cheat %, it's very important that you wait either until you feel the rumble of SpongeBob hitting the ground, or you can predict, based on where you were before the cutscene started, how long it would take you to come and hit the ground. Because if you press A before he hits the ground, you're going to end up with a spatula animation over here because you pressed A too early. You'll see, if it happens to you, you'll notice it. If you get a spatula animation, just wait. You just gotta wait until you, no, not until, okay. So if you get a spatula animation, just wait a little bit longer the next time until you press A, and you'll get a feel for it. But yeah, I'm gonna actually go over tartar sauce skip after I do this. There's another method for doing this fight, where you can turn around and detonate the cruise bubble on his first hand like that. No matter which way he spins or swipes, I mean, you should be able to get it. Like he'll do it that way, and maybe he'll do it the other way. Yep. So it works both ways, as you just saw there. And I'll go over cruise control stuff later. But yeah, this is the brain segment. You have 50-50 chance of him spawning on the left, which just happened there. If that happens, you can hit yourself with the tartar sauce spawn, and you can just continue to the end of the fight. But if he goes on the right, you have to be able to react to it. So when I'm jumping over this trampoline, I'm looking for which side he spawns on. So you're going to spawn on the left again? Okay, cool. Just jump on there and get yourself hit. This is one of the more risky strats for beginners. But yeah, see how he spawned on the left that time? You just stand right here, wait for the hammer bot to hit you, and you'll fall down. So you have two options there. When you get a more optimized time, it matters a lot whether you get lucky here. As far as we know, it's RNG, whether he spawns on the left or right, but there's no... That isn't confirmed. I don't think there's any way to you know, prove that's not right, but it just seems random. Yeah, pretty simple category. If you're interested in trying this game, might be something to encourage you to learn cruise boosting and see how it feels to move around. It's pretty simple to learn. It's only a couple of minutes long. A few minutes long. Anyway, there you go. It's your cheat percent tutorial. Alright, I'm going to go over cruise control now. So, let's go over cruise control. So we're gonna do another run now.
Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain! I can hear you! Aye, aye, Captain!
And we're gonna go over the same shit, but we're gonna do cruise control.
I'm quick.
On Xbox, the cruise control the cruise control cheat
Sure looks like we're in a
is
huge
XXXXY. Wait a minute. XXXXYY. It's kind of hard to think about it because it's muscle memory for me. So you're just gonna want to look it up. It's like a faster cruise bubble cheat or cruise control cheat. You'll be able to figure out what it is. I'm gonna link the cheats in the description. But yeah, it's done like this.
Say hello to my little
If you do it
bubble
properly,
friend.
that's what you should hear. And then you do the cruise bubble cheats,
It's almost
bubble cheats, and then you do spatulas.
almost.
Alright, so now, again, we're going to go outside. But this time you're going to notice something a little bit different. We're going to have a faster cruise bubble. See this? So this goes a lot faster. The reason why this is important to note, if you want to take on harder strats, because you get cruise boosting like this. It doesn't make your cruise boost faster, because it does not affect the speed at which you slide back and forth. But it just makes the timing for cruise boosting a lot faster. So some people choose not to do this in their cheap percent runs. If you think you can handle it, go for it. I don't think there's any harm in trying. But yeah, that's cruise control, and you'll see how it affects the run later in like a chum bucket lab. By the way, if you fail the hand disable, that's what happens. But if you fail it like that, you can recover it with a bubble ball boost. That time, you see how I didn't go anywhere? I just kind of stood in place, like even less momentum than that. That just means that I got the frame, but the game didn't give it to me. I don't know. This category is kind of like gambling in a way. It's a lot of hard movement and a lot of gambling.
Oh, I'm quick.
But yeah, so you'll see how it affects the run a little bit. I don't think it's really that much more difficult to learn with cruise cancel. I mean, not cruise cancel. Cruise control. It just makes your bubble bowl faster. I mean, your cruise bubble faster. My bad. But yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you jump to around the left here. If you miss that just like that, you're gonna want to come around here. And just do this instead. Pretty simple.
They serve food here, yes, but they don't serve
And I'm gonna go over cruise control specific strats for this boss fight now.
Oh, I'm quick.
The first thing you want to do when you get into this boss fight is hold down the L trigger and pay attention to which side he swipes on.
And here we are.
That's the first thing you do. So that's what you do first is, I think this is the first strat I ever found in cheat percent. The robot sleeping skip or plankton skip in this category. I found this by accident when I got my first world record with a time of 250, I think. But yeah, this is the first thing I found in cheat percent. It's pretty neat. You can actually skip the startup animation on a Robo SpongeBob. So you pay attention to that. And while this happens, you can hit plankton. And you can just hit him on the side. I'm not going to go over the advanced RNG strat for that because it is kind of tight. And you don't want to frustrate yourself with that. But if you do that, then he wakes up early. And you can just do Robo SpongeBob skip. I started walking really early on, that's why I missed it. But anyway, you do this. That's why you gotta hold. As soon as you get in, just start holding. Mash to... Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention that you can detonate your cruise bubble like by pressing the L button in midair. So make sure you're using this. When you do this on Plankton, you're gonna want to mash it when you touch him, because sometimes you get a really bad hitbox and the cruise bubble will clip right through. So you're gonna want to mash the L trigger when you bring your cruise bubble to Plankton. So you mash it here, hit him, hit his body. Okay, well, that time, again with the RNG, sometimes he'll spawn so far away from you that if you hit him and then hit the side of Robo SpongeBob, you won't get the skip because he has time to wake up. So I guess in that case I should go over this other trick. But it is very reaction based. So sometimes what he'll do is he'll hit you on both sides. So he'll hit you from the left and then the right, or the right and then the left. If that happens, you can turn to the side and do another one and detonate it on him, and he'll do the wake up, the early wake up. But yeah, if you have trouble with that, don't worry about it. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. And see, even then, like, it just still feels a little bit random because he sometimes wakes up too late, you know? It's like you skip Plankton, but he still has the delay for waking up. It's kind of stupid. But yeah, I did get the 80 for a spatula, right? Okay. Yep, okay, there you go. So, I mashed during that cutscene just to show you what happens if you press A too early. Because as you're in that cutscene, the game doesn't pause. Time is still moving in that cutscene, so like what you're seeing here, if there were a cutscene playing over this would still be happening in the game. So, you have to be able to either A, if you don't use Rumble, predict when you touch the ground, so you can press A when you touch the ground, or B, if you use Rumble, you'll feel a little vibration in your controller when you land on the ground. And that'll tell you when to press A. Does that make sense? So if you press A too early, you don't touch the ground, so therefore your spatula animation doesn't start. So your spatula animation is going to start on the next available frame when you're touching the ground, which happens to be in the final fight over here. So you'll lose like 6 seconds if you press A too early, is basically what I'm saying. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Do you guys have any specific questions about cheat percent? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I can't imagine there'll be too many questions. Oh yeah, there is a strat on GameCube where you turn around and you do that, and then like you like come up here and you can get caught on the side of that thing and do a fast brain strat, but it doesn't work on Xbox yet. I don't even know how to do that because it's only viable on GameCube.
Will SpongeBob be able to neutralize the giant robot's brain?
But yeah, the utility of having cruise control, even if you don't like the cruise boosting with it, it might still be worth doing it here, like entering the cruise control cheat while you're falling or whatever. So if you do that, then like you can jump up here, and then at least for this part you'll be able to see how fast this is. Like you can go in so much faster with this. Another thing I should mention with the cruise control cheat is that you have a much bigger blast radius on this thing. The blast radius on this cruise bubble is gigantic. And it's also really, really fast. So there you go. That's cheat percent. Is it just collision that makes it? Yeah, it's collision. It's either impossible or extremely inconsistent. I don't know, maybe someday I'll be doing it. It's pretty unlikely though, who knows? Alright, so that's going to be it for the cheat percent tutorial. Cool. I'm going to upload this, and in the description I'm going to put the cheat codes, and I'm also going to put the timestamps for cruise boosting and robo sponge skip. So if you guys want to try this out, it'll only take you like under 5 minutes if you know how to cruise boost already. It's pretty easy. As far as the leaderboards go, if you have a time under 3 minutes, submit with milliseconds added. If you don't have a time under 3 minutes, submit without milliseconds added. Yeah, if you want to give it a try, it's pretty simple to learn. Especially if you're like thinking about running the game. It gives you a nice little dose of cheat percent and some fun movement, so might be an okay way of getting into it if you're interested. Alright, cool. So that is that. Hey, you'd be surprised. You'd definitely be surprised in yourself if you gave it a try, you know? Anyway, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna host Trelly. I haven't talked to him in a while. Talk to you boys later.